Hey everybody, this is Seth Keeping It Real. One of the biggest questions people are asking today when it comes to finding a supplier to launch a product for e-commerce, for Shopify, for Amazon, for eBay, is can I trust the supplier if it's on Alibaba? And even more importantly, can I trust them if they're a gold supplier on Alibaba? Well, today I'm going to answer that question for you. Guys, welcome back to another edition of Steal This Tutorial. Free tutorials so epic you feel like you stole it. Well, there was a day when you could not. Just a few years ago, any supplier wannabe could become an unverified member on Alibaba just by filling out a form and then applying. So you, your uncle, your dog with a Facebook profile could get onto Alibaba as a supplier. And this made it really easy for fraudulent so-called suppliers to start preying on unwary Alibaba shoppers. Now, fortunately, because unverified suppliers did not have gold star status, they were buried on the pages. So if you went to search for a product, you'd have to scroll way, way down to find them, and so little harm was done. But then along came verified suppliers. Now, to become a verified supplier, all you had to do was get a business license, and that was it. There was no fee for becoming a supplier as verified. So a lot of fraudulent suppliers, or so-called suppliers, would go out, they would get their business license, and they would sign up, and a lot of trusting, unwary Alibaba shoppers would leverage them and their services, their so-called services, to get what they needed. This created a major problem, and it got really bad, so bad, Alibaba had to step in and do something. But in the meantime, Alibaba developed a bad reputation, and that's why a lot of people were posting online, I can't believe I just got scammed by this supplier. So on May 8th, 2015, Alibaba went through and they cleaned house. I mean, they fired a ton of their leadership, they revamped the entire system, and after that notable day, there were two things Alibaba did to stop these scams. Number one, Alibaba discontinued offering any more free verified memberships. Again, this is back in 2015. Number two, Alibaba set up what is called the Gold Star Supplier status so that the supplier cannot talk to an agent until after they have paid the fees for becoming a Gold Star supplier. Because before, you could actually call Alibaba on the phone, talk to them before you're Gold Star and say, hey, look, can I pay you on the side? You just get me the status? It would save the scammer money and the employee of Alibaba would make a little off the top. And that's why Alibaba came in and completely revamped the Gold Star supplier status. The reason is because for someone to become a Gold Star supplier, they have to pay a hefty fee. Like it's a pretty big fee, $2,000 or more. And most scammers, they're looking for shortcuts. They're not interested in paying a big fee so they can go scam someone. The whole purpose they're scamming is they're looking for a shortcut. So what it does is it filters out the people who are not really set on big business. Because if you know anything about business, and this is exactly what we teach our warriors, some who are millionaires today, is to build a business correctly, you have to lay a foundation. It requires an upfront investment. So you're willing to pay what it takes in order to scale. So this has filtered out the majority of those scammers, and there's a lot of reason now today you can trust. But does that mean you can trust everyone in Alibaba? Of course not. There's some on Alibaba still who are gonna try to scam you. So today I'm gonna give you a step-by-step process so you can find a supplier that will build a differentiated product that can make you money. When someone becomes a Gold Star supplier, there are different levels of fees they can pay to get greater storage, like photo storage space for the products, as well as ranking. So when someone searches for their product, it ranks up and comes up quickly. So you can pay the basic, which is $1,399, or you can pay what's called standard, which is $2,999, or the supplier can pay $3,999 for the premium Gold Star level. Of the gold suppliers, there are three levels. There's A and V, which stands for authenticated and verified. There's assessed supplier, and there's also on-site check. Let me show you. Here you see the A and V check. Here you see the on-site check. Here you see the assessed supplier. Each one consecutively becomes more strict and difficult to apply. And you can even see here, boom, assessed supplier has a ton of check marks and rigorous rules to get through to get approved. You can actually go to Alibaba, and if you just search verification types, you will see this page. A and V stands for authenticated and verified. First, let's talk about authentication. It means the supplier submitted 3 documents to Alibaba that verify they are a legally registered company. Number 1, they submitted a government-issued document that verifies this company is tax legal. They're legal with the tax department in China. Number 2, a company telephone bill, no older than 3 months, and it includes the company's number and is under their name, kind of like when you're applying to rent out a place or buy a house. They want some kind of verification that you live here, that this is your address, this is who you are. The third one is if the person applying is not the actual owner or the director level of the company, they have to submit an authorization letter from the company. Now the second part, verification, I really like this part because this is where Alibaba really goes to the next level. They check to see if the contact information on that form is accurate. They actually call them up and say, hello, in Chinese, and they talk to them to verify this is the real person. It's not some robot. This isn't a fake number. It's actually verification that that person is with that company. Now, with all these 3 documents and that final check, it's really hard to fake it. I mean, you have to spend a lot of energy and time to fake it. But that's not the last thing. The A and V process takes a few weeks. It takes time. Again, scammers are not into waiting. They're always looking for shortcuts. So again, it's another filter that decreases the chance that they're a scammer. Second level gold supplier is called on-site check. On-site check. This is required verification for all gold status suppliers in China mainland, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. So if they're a supplier in Pakistan, the US, or Russia, South America, they do not have to have this level. They can just go with the authentication and verification. But if you want the second level on-site check and you're in China, you actually have to get the on-site check level. The A and V is not enough. So you could almost say this, and this is usually true, you can trust the supplier more if they're Asian in those 3 locations I just gave you than if they're not. And I know a lot of people think, oh man, because it's China, they're going to cheat me or do something bad. Actually, in Alibaba, they have raised that vetting process. Why? Because Jack Ma is a smart entrepreneur. He knows what people fear, and so he raises the bar to give them an increased level of security so they're more confident. The second level, after authenticated and verified, is called on-site check. It's really simple. All it means is Alibaba hired a third-party service company to go visit the factory and make sure it is a legitimate establishment. They physically went in and talked to the people and looked at the offices and looked at the factory. So when you know they had the on-site check, you can be assured this is a legitimate company. Now keep in mind, this does not mean they're not a trading company. They still could be. And if you go to the About section, you can find out, it'll tell you if they're a trading company. But this is really important, and let me tell you why. If that supplier is in Taiwan, Hong Kong, mainland China, in order to get Gold Star supplier status, the A and V, the authentication and verification is not good enough. In other words, for those Asian regions, they have to have the second level on-site check just to become a Gold Star supplier. Theoretically say, in most cases, the suppliers from Hong Kong, Taiwan, and mainland China are more trustworthy than ones from Pakistan, the US, South America, Russia, and so forth. Jack Ma was a very smart entrepreneur. He knew a lot of people did not trust the Chinese. Therefore, he raised the bar for them to become Gold Star suppliers. This is what I love about Alibaba. They adjust based on what we need. Kind of like an Amazon listing. Third level of Gold Star supplier is called an assessed supplier. Now this one's really strict. This is the highest standard verification you can receive in Alibaba. Let me show you what I'm talking about. These are called assessment reports. These assessment reports give you knowledge, so when you are sourcing, you can have confidence, and it includes the third-party inspection company along with a ton of other documentation. The only time you're going to see these is if that supplier received the highest level, the assessed level, of Gold Star status. And therefore, when you go to the About section of the company, you can look at these documents to verify that this is a supplier you can trust. All of the qualifications for level 1, authentication, verification, and level 2, the on-site check, are already met, and additionally, Alibaba commissions several agencies based on their international reputation and proven credibility to test the claims made by these suppliers. That's where the third star, the highest, the third level comes in. Now, this assessment includes company overview. It covers their legal status, company address, human resources, production capacity, production processes and machinery, their trade capacity, how well can they trade, their market distribution, their design equipment, quality assurance, certification, supplier management. I mean, it is the whole spiel, you guys. If a supplier has the status, the chances of them being a cheat or a liar or a scam are not impossible. Anyone can do something stupid, but the chances of it are really, really low. Now, this assessment process is a 4-step process. First, the inspector meets with the supplier. Second, they do an on-site check. Third, they interview the company personnel, and they audit all the company information. You can actually view uploads from Alibaba where they show you the on-site inspections that they did. And if you go over to the supplier's mini site and look at the assessment reports, which I showed you a minute ago, it gives you a download to view all of those assessments. Pro tip. When you find a supplier, let's say you've done all that other vetting work, go to their options for payment. If they offer trade assurance, that increases the chances that you will not be scammed. Here's why. Trade assurance works like an escrow, where part of the payment, like the first 30%, goes into a holding place, like escrow, when you do a mortgage, and it stays there. And the supplier builds the product, then you have an inspection done, and then not until you click that button will that 30% of the payment be released to the supplier. You have all the leverage in the world, and Alibaba will back you. Now, if you're looking to go really deep on this, click the link below, join our membership. We'll show you all of this step by step. We have a ton of training on this, exactly how to do it for different kinds of products. But in the meantime, I hope this information has been extremely helpful to you, and you guys get out there and fire your boss.